welcome to another insightful episode of the Millennial Talk Show, where we talk about issues that affect millennials and how to deal with them. Of course, I'm your host, Josephine, and this is the third week in March 2022. Well, guys, we have started this month. Like I said, it's going to be unpredictable. And of course, today we have another exciting subject on the table. Well, recently, there has been a lot of talks around the corners about the crackdown of these loan apps. Yes, we know that a lot of people have been talking about privacy issues. And of course, it has come to the point where the crackdown happens. So in that regards, we're going to be looking at loan apps' impact in the lives of millennials and the way forward. Well, loans have always been a good way to get emergency funds for salary earners to meet urgent needs. Now, I noticed that in 2018, there was a rise in the popularity of these loan apps after a few millennials tried them and realized that they weren't just another online scam waiting to happen. Well, the problem only started to rise when millennials decided to put their hope in these apps. Now, although there are a great advantage to these apps, there's also a lot of disadvantages around the corner. And there's also the breach and privacy issues. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this recently as well. Just last week, the Federal Competition Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, in collaboration with other related regulatory bodies and the Nigerian police force, raided an illegal financial institution operating on Opebi Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Now, to shed more light on today's topic, I have with me Oke Anuforo, MD CEO, BVA Partners Limited. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good afternoon for
Yeah.
having me.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, doing great. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. So please give me a quick introduction about yourself. And right after, let's go into the first question, which is what are the activities that led to the crackdown of these organizations, and what can others in this line of business learn going forward?
Okay, thank you very much once again. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Oki Anoforo. I'm a chartered accountant and a stockbroker as well. I worked in the banking industry for close to 10 years. Um, so, yes, when we talk about these loan apps, let's understand something. First of all, they are solving problem, right?
Mhm.
Um, if they were not solving a major problem, I'm not sure they would be enjoying the kind of popularity we're seeing today.
Yes.
That's number one. Then number two, the reason we see a lot of other players jumping in is also because, like in every market, when a product or service is doing well, of course, you will expect competition.
Yeah.
But of course, there's always a chance that bad guys, could come in at some point.
Mhm.
Now, so having that understanding that those guys were solving a problem and real problem, and people were appreciating them, patronizing them. Yes, there's no system wouldn't have that doesn't have a problem, even in the core banking space, which
Mhm.
is why you always need regulation. I mean, CBN is out there to um, make sure that anybody who is playing in that market has to, play by the rules.
Yeah.
A major problem I see here is the fact that at some point you now found that the idea of using people's information, the privacy, data privacy problem became a major issue because when you have people whose intentions are not really to solve a problem, but to get your information and then possibly use it to steal your money in other ways. I mean, those things are had to happen, but that's also why in the financial industry, the issue of security is always taken very very seriously.
Mhm.
So problem that will continue to be there, but the regulators again have stepped up, and it's quite a good development.
Yes, it is.
Now, yes. So anyone coming into the industry needs to understand from the one that it's not, you don't just come in and think there's regulation. There are people watching,
Definitely.
you know. So people are abusing it as well. So it's not even as if everybody who complains is really
Victims.
yeah, exactly. So some, it's more like you want to be smart, and then somebody not smart, the person you want to outsmart turns out smarter than you are. All right. I'm not advocating for anybody, but yes, it's something people have to approach with a lot of caution.
I mean, I just wanted to ask a little bit about the privacy issue because we talk about these unregulated bodies that have been cracked down, and I know that these people have also had access to people's information, like BVN and the rest. What are the possible risks? I mean, you mentioned fraud, but these organizations are helping, like you said, trying to give out loans, but just at higher rates, and they are unregulated, so they do certain things that they usually wouldn't do when they are regulated. What are the possible risks? I mean, people just go out there to jump on any app they see on Play Store just because it offers loans. What are the possible risks? What should people do and what should they not do in this case? Like when you want to take out loan from an organization, what should you be looking out for?
Exactly, and for me, that is even the biggest risk. I can't think of any other risk that is bigger than the fact that somebody, steals, in quote, steals your information, something as sensitive as the BVN, which is akin to like having access to your bank account. I mean, I don't know how those to do those things, but that's the kind of information that you know everybody should protect very carefully. And so, um, the risk is that with Oblivion, it has been we've seen that when the Oblivion is compromised, it's
Mhm.
almost as you're giving people the key to your finances really. And
Yeah.
so the risk is that you're going to lose your money. You stand a chance to lose your money. Now, what do you need to do? One of the things I think anybody needs to do is first and foremost,
Mhm.
that's going for money. Yes,
Mhm.
I worked in the banking industry. I know that from loans, banks make the biggest money from giving out loans.
Of
And
course.
so I'm not saying that people take loans, but from beginning, before anybody wants to go for a loan, that loan has to make sense. It has to really make sense. You don't want to go for a loan, whether a loan app or the traditional loan, because you see that people are getting money easily. So that's number one. But another important thing step you need to take, in addition to telling yourself, do I really need this money? After you answer the question of do you need that money that you want to borrow, the next thing should be you want to do more like a check on the people you want to borrow from, a due diligence. You want to find out who are these people,
Yeah.
right? And a simple check on CBN website, I guess, will help.
Oh,
Um, and I'm sure that apart from the CBN website, there ought to be some other platform that online one can confirm the authenticity of anyone who's offering those kind of financing options, right? And so you then need to like validate who it is that you want to
or
borrow from, so that it won't turn out that these are people who want to just harvest your information for some other thing. So that's about the biggest precaution someone needs to take. I have an example. Someone very close to me called me a few days ago and said, "Hey, okay, that a microfinance bank is offering him, some ridiculous rate." And I said, "Who are these people?" He gave me one funny name, and then told me how a former party chairman is on the board of that company and things. I
Mhm.
said, "Brother, this rate you're giving me, do you know that right now I even see a possibility that something's about to go wrong?" At the end of the day, I let him know it was his call to make. And so you find that people lose their money a lot of the time, I tell you, a lot of the time due to carelessness. I'm telling you. So people need to exercise caution. If you want to borrow, find out who you're borrowing from. It
Mhm.
is not because somebody has said, come and borrow at 1% or 2%, while others are giving at 10.
Okay.
Question, how is the guy getting that money that he's able to lend to you at such a ridiculously low rate?
Hmm.
Or to extend it further, if it's on the reverse, if someone is offering you a return that is out of normal, that's just not normal, you want to find out what is these people? What is this guy doing? What are these people doing that they're able to generate so much return that they can give you that which you can hardly find across board? That way, people can be reasonably protected from some of these risks.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for that insight. So the final question for today would be, what is the way forward to ensuring that the system is properly regulated for the benefits of millennials and beyond? Because I believe that millennials are the one who purchase this product the most because they are currently the workforce. And also we have the a few of maybe the Gen Z and the previous generation. But what is the way, what do you think is the way forward, both for the regulators and for the borrowers as well?
Okay, thank you very much. See, that regulation, if you ask me, you need to start from, first of all, self-regulation. You know this thing called will help a great deal. That for me is the most important step. Why I say that is no matter how tight CBN and EFCC and ICPC, whoever, no matter how tight they raise their game and things like that, if you don't self-regulate, you also stand the risk of running into trouble. And what do I mean by self-regulating? It goes back to the 2 points I raised initially, where number one, you have to ask the question of, do I need to borrow? Do I need to borrow? That question is critical. In many cases, find that the reason we borrow, some of the reasons we borrow are not worth it. Some, I didn't say all. So self-regulation is very key. So if you want to, you need to now self-regulate and say, hey, do you? So you self-regulate. Ask yourself, do I need this money? You find out who you want to borrow from, and then I think it also helps to. Everybody must not be an IT security person, but basic security consciousness will also help. For instance, I've never lost money. I've never lost money, whether it's ATM or internet banking or something. And I'm 47. So you can even call me, maybe I'm still part of the millennial. I don't know whether you agree with me or maybe semi-millennial, whatever. But how come I haven't lost money? I'm
Right.
not praying to lose money, my dear. Yes, I'm not praying to lose money. But if I'm doing basic internet banking, before I click okay, not okay, accept, send, I look very well.
Yeah.
I'm careful. Do you get? I go to ATM. If I punch, at the end of the day, that we're told that you can just find a way clean your whether it's handkerchief or something, you just clean the buttons and things. I mean, in case there's whatever, all of those funny things that we do. So that is self-regulation, self-consciousness. I
Okay.
think that if we read you can't be thinking that we're in a third world, my dear, and people are desperate.
Of
People
course.
are desperate. So we need to be, raise our self-consciousness, self-regulation, be more aware.
Okay.
That's my opinion, really.
All right.
And one more thing, and then for those who are also maybe IT savvy, maybe gadget savvy, I'm not one of those, but I mean it helps to also read up some of this security stuff. Do you understand?
Okay.
You know, you see a lot of young people, the millennials you spoke about, on their phone, they are watching TikTok and videos and things, and you think somebody is serious, doing something serious on his phone. You don't know the person is just watching a game that has zero to your knowledge. Meanwhile, on that same app, you can read up some things about how you can stay protected. Do you get? So you don't just sit back and wait for a CBN or EFCC to do your security stuff for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you
Mhm.
very much for the insights. We do appreciate that. Right about now, we'll go on a short commercial break. When we're back, we'll be closing the show. Don't go anywhere.
There is time for everything. It doesn't matter if it's food, work, hobbies, or just life. Millennials are always on the go, trying to make things happen. Millennial Talk, enlightening and supporting millennials on finance and growth for personal development. Join us on Millennial Talk every Thursday by 10 a.m. Start developing yourself today.
Welcome back to the show. Well, guys, I hope you have learned a lot from today's conversation, and there's been a few things. But just to highlight some of the key takeaways from today's conversation, I would say that don't be in a hurry to take loans. Make inquiries on the legitimacy of the firm that you are lending from. Number 2 will be to know your rights and the proper authorities to lay complaints if you witness any malpractices on the part of the lenders. And the third and final one will be to seek for alternative means of income, alternatives to personal loans, because I would say, from my opinion, that personal loans are not always the best way, and they are not always in your best interest. So in that regard, we'll be closing the show for today. And like I said, I do hope that you have learned a thing or two. Well, if you'd like to find out more about the financial market and about personal finance, you can visit our website, www.proshareng.com. Till next time, keep watching.